Hello and welcome to Minecraft. I'm your host, RiftWoods. As always, it's a pleasure to see you all again. Hope you're here ready for another episode of the Survival Series. I think this is episode 8 now. Yes, we've come quite far so far. Well, today's episode, like I said in the last episode, I'm going to start teaching you how to do some of my farms that I've done. First farm we're doing is my wool farm, and the second farm will be my kelp to fuel farm, which I've kind of improved slightly since this video. So it's now got well, you'll see in the video. I'll be showing you how I made my newer version and how well and how effective it actually is. We do need a lot of bone marrow, but who doesn't need bone meal? Don't know why I said bone marrow then. It's bone meal. Right, let's get started. As you can see, my mob spawner is still going strong. It's pretty good. You can't beat this thing. It's dangerous. It's lethal. It just gains you a lot of XP. Check this out. Look at this. Just keep dropping and dropping and dropping. Always do. Repair gear in no time. Yep, one more down. And just keep dropping. This is great. And now I've put in two sides to it. Because I've realised my hoppers underneath are getting a bit too full on one side, but not the other side. So I've opened both sides up, so both hoppers are getting full now. So I'll just collect all this stuff. And then we'll move on to the next bit. Right. Don't get into. Can't leave XP behind. Right, so we'll start with my wool farm, which is this big building over here. It will look better. I've got plans for the future of this island, and, well, you'll see in all the videos to come. As you can see, I've also got every single colour of wool in here. There's one colour I haven't got, and that is black. I ain't got black, typically. But hey, what can I do? I've got black, but there's no more space left. So I've got to kind of extend this thing, or just go without black wool for now. But you can see all your wools here, and let's show you how to make this thing. First off, we need these parts. So you need the hoppers, you need some lights. But we'll start with the hoppers first. Well, hoppers and boxes. Hopper first, then the crate underneath. Then what you need to do is put a rail on top. Then a hopper cart on top of that one. Then put blocks up. Put a block either side. Keep on building, and that's the start of it. As you can see. Now I've got to go further up. Let's build the actual section where the actual sheep goes. I need this sand just to make itself higher up. I'm doing this in survival. So you can see this is actually quite easy to do. So jump on. And then all I do is put my grass down. So I do the grass I do is a 6. And you see I've got 3 there and I've got 3 in front of it. And then that's that bit. That's the level bit. That's the base of the actual farm now. Now I just need to do the components to actually do the automatic cutting bit, the automatic wool cutting. So an observer facing the actual grass block. Then you need a dispenser on top. And then inside that dispenser will be some shears, but I'll put them in a minute. The next thing we need to do is actually set up the actual redstone for it. So I put a redstone lamp on the back, and I put a redstone dust on top, and this does actually automatically trigger the actual dispenser. So when the sheep eats the grass, the observer sees it, it sets the light off, which sets the redstone off, and then dispensers away. So as I put the surrounding on this and get my egg for my sheep. In survival, you just need to lure one in with hay or whatever you need. Just drag one in with a lead, you're fine. So that's the shears and dispenser. I need to surround this with glass. So you don't want the wool going anywhere, do you? Snipped off, you want it to stay in where it is. Because it gets trimmed off, it stays on, the hopper takes it down and straight into your chest. Make sure you block this top bit here though, otherwise the actual sheep does escape. I found that out recently. So I'll stick my sheep in there, and then I put another block on top and the light in front, because that'll help the grass to grow faster and better chance for your sheep to get more wool for you. And that is it. It is as simple as that to make a wool farm. This is a simple wool farm, just a single one. If you want a single set of wool, as you can see, it is sheared, and that will now be in the box below. So I'll show what it looks like from above. Yeah, the simple sheep just stands there. He gets to eat lots of grass, so not laying down. And then just the farm just trims away his wool. And over here you can see I put 2 next to each other. But all I've changed underneath is where I put the hopper, I put a couple more blocks and I put a redstone rail on, so I can actually go back and forth. It picks up the wool for me. As you can see, it collects quite a lot already. I've only been here a couple of seconds. That's that one anyway. The other one's been running a tiny bit of time. The only difference is exactly the same thing, but it's put next to each other. And just put a rail underneath going back and forth to collect the wool. I pick it all up. You can see I've done two different setups. They both work exactly the same. So whichever way you want to set up the back of your actual wool farm, it's best what you want to do. Right, so that is the wool farm. Very useful, very helpful, gets you lots and lots of wool. And I'll show you how much wool I've got with just that farm running on its own. And over here is my kelp farm. This is my older version of the kelp farm. I've upgraded this quite a bit. I've improved it, but what it does, it cuts the kelp flows into the back, into the chest, into the smokers, and it cooks it. And then I've got some auto crafters, which then makes your dry kelp block, which is for your fuel, which is very useful because a block of kelp can actually do 20 pieces in a furnace. It's a good fuel source, and it's well, there's plenty of it. So here is how I make that kelp farm. Well, the upgraded version of this kelp farm. As you'll see, I've added a fair few different things to it. I'll raise any points that I need to know about this, or any extra bits. But I've hopefully done everything you need to know in this guide quite easily. Because I like this farm, it works well, it gets you a heck of a lot of kelp very, very quickly. And it gives you a good infinite source of fuel. You can build this in survival mode. All you need to do is kind of put some scaffolding at the side so you get to the top and down again. It is actually quite easy to build. Just build upwards, then go to the next one, build upwards, build upwards, build upwards. Hopefully, if there are any issues or anyone needs any more information on how to build this farm, just let me know in the comments and I'll try and, well, help you out as much as I can. Here I'm using ice. Now people don't think, well, what do I use ice for? Well, ice makes things move faster and it's a good thing for items to slide across if you have no water sources. So I made one originally where you can see opposite, the water didn't reach the actual ice, so the water flowed off, the cat went over, it hit the ice, and then flowed it into the stream, which you'll see very shortly. So I put the ice there so things flow easier, and you'll see I use another ice block in a bit just to block the water. You see, I put the water in now and it flows out at the end. But like I say, I'm going to put an ice block at the end, which helps it, and then we'll put a slab above it, because then the slab blocks the water, but items can still flow underneath that slab and go on the ice, which means it keeps on moving. So it can keep on going, it doesn't stop, doesn't block up, just flow. As you can see earlier, I had normal ice blocks here, but I tried them out and they failed. So I went back to the good old bucket and put the buckets of water on. And it fills in perfectly fine. And there's where we add the kelp in. So you don't have to put the water way down because the kelp makes the air bubbles all the way up, which means it's a solid water. But what you do is plenty of kelp, let the kelp grow to the very top, or just bone meal it to get it faster go along, and then we start putting in the actual redstone function to actually start cutting the actual kelp. But let it grow to the top first, so you got your water source all the way to the top, otherwise your kelp will not flow to the top, it will just get stuck at the bottom and sink. So this is all you have to do for the actual system. So as you see, I've got to cut the kelp down now so I can activate my actual redstone system. The observers see, you break it, and the observer will break everything. Boom, break. Put this away. And the next part is the bone meal feeder. This bit is the extra bit I've added on. You can use comparators, or you can use the redstone, anything you want. But this is the way I prefer to do it best, use a rail. You can do some redstone clocks, but I've tried them, they're too quick. And yeah, bone meal disappears instantly, it's gone. But this way it kind of makes it a nice even amount through, which means it helps the kelp grow more even. So you can see the kelp goes to the top, it flows through into the hopper, into the box. As you see, the box is already empty, that hopper is already empty because it's already in these hoppers, ready to flow into the smokers, which I've now placed. Now smokers are on, I need to get a fuel source for these smokers, or they're going to die very quickly because we have a lot of kelp running into this. So let's do an automatic feeder for the fuel, and that is the smoke bit system sorted. Now we need to put in the hopper system to actually go into the auto crafter, which then makes your dry kelp blocks, which you can use them for your fuel, which I use everywhere now. Because you melt this kelp so quick and make this fuel so quick, it's a good fuel source instead of coal or charcoal. Because trees take a while to burn down, this builds really, very quickly. So I've got the chest, and I put a hopper connected to the chest to catch all the dried kelp blocks. I block it off so they don't fly out, and now I need the tick-tock to actually set off the actual auto crafter. Same way as I did before, I like my rails. I think it's the best way to set up a system. It's even, it goes around the same amount of times, and it's not too quick. So this automatically triggers the auto crafter, which then makes the actual dry kelp blocks. And let's see it all in one go. Let's set this off. And you can see my kelp's growing very, very quickly. This is normal speed time, not speed up. This is how fast the kelp can grow with your bone meal feeder, feeding it quickly. And you'll see how much kelp gets sent to the top at the end of this. Look at that, all that kelp going to the top. It makes it like nobody's business. It's a great fuel system, and that bone meal feeder just makes it even faster. Otherwise you have to wait a tiny bit longer for it to grow, but it's worth it in the end. But feel free to try this one out. This is the improved version of my kelp feeder. As you can see, the kelp goes to the top, feeds the hopper, and away it goes to make my fuel. So this is the old version, back to the old version again. As I can see, I've improved it quite a bit since then. So now I'm going to show you what the take is for the wool farm, which you can see there's plenty of wool here. It does its job. You get plenty of wool. So that hopper's full of wool, and then the next hopper's full of wool. It builds very, very quickly. And I've not got this kelp farm going as fast, it's not my new one. The chest system is there, and it gets the fuel fast. Right, let's show you what I've been up to over here. I'm sure I showed you this bridge, but this is one of my new bridges. It's quite a nice one. I thought I'd link to a nice desert island. And this is my new turtle farm. Yes, I get the turtle shells, get the eggs, breed them, and then an infinite supply of the shells to make my helmets. And then that's about it for today, people. I've shown you the two farms, my most valuable farms. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope they've been informative. If you need any more information or want to know more, just let me know in the comments. And I'll most likely see you all in the next video with more.